Hello, everyone. So, we got something to talk about today.
We got a few things to talk about today.
Yeah.
So does the Avengers suck, John?
Well, Alex, the answer to that question is play the game for your fucking self. Don't take content creators and even big gaming companies' input and criticism at face value.
Exactly.
Because a lot of these content creators, and let me not say the gaming journalists, but a lot of these content creators are jumping onto the Avengers hate bandwagon for views. A lot of the stuff that they're saying are not issues, they are actually not big problems, and they are lies. So there has to be, like, there is this mindset and hive mind in the gaming community where if, you know, a couple big YouTubers say that this game sucks, then the game just sucks, and everybody in the gaming community believes that. I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
It's boring. And it's honestly the thing that killed Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Like, Mass Effect Andromeda had a lot of promise, and, like, honestly was an okay game that could have had a really great sequel, but because of the hive mind, the game was killed, and Mass Effect was put on ice.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen to this game. So that was my little rant about that.
Introduction to what this entire episode's going to be about. Because
Exactly.
It's not to say that there aren't problems with this game.
Yeah.
Right? And we have a couple points that we want to talk about that are actual legitimate problems.
Yeah.
But majority of the things that we want to talk about today are just misconceptions.
Yeah.
That we feel like are people who played the first couple hours, the A-Day, and then the first two missions, and that was it. Like, we've seen that too many times, and it's like, no.
I'm gonna call it out. Alana Pierce, who used to work at IGN. She literally played A-Day and then stopped playing the game. And that's the case for so many of these people that have criticisms about the game. They played the first mission and then stopped playing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really get a feel of a game after the first mission. You just can't.
What did you want to talk about? I think this is another one you want to yell about real quick.
Not every game has to be revolutionary. Like, people were sitting there talking about, like, oh, like, well, I just played The Last of Us, or it doesn't feel like God of War, or even, like, it doesn't feel like, you know, Spiderman, or, you know, Batman Arkham, or whatever. And, like, why does it have to? Why does it have to be a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? Sometimes games can just be a decent 7 out of 10 game and just be fun. Like, it doesn't have to be a game that you sit there and, you know, like, okay, how I am with The Last of Us, where it's like once a year I want to come back and play this game. It's like, no, sometimes I just want to have a fun game.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that's what Apex is.
Yeah.
Like, for us, it's like, yes, it's fun, yes, it's great, but I don't want to sit there and playing it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm trying to rank up and do those things and playing with you and our friends, then yeah, absolutely. But, like, this game, I feel like at its core is going to be a multiplayer, have fun, beat 'em up with your game.
Exactly.
With your friends.
Exactly. Like, it feels like the thing I've been saying, and I think the thing that people need to get into their heads about this game is that it feels like a AAA behind-the-shoulder Ultimate Alliance. It feels like a game where it's like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna run around and beat shit up as Marvel characters. Like, it's mindless fun with Marvel characters, and I think that's the point of this game, and, like, kind of what I wanted. Like, Spider-Man's great. It is a great single-player story. But, like, with the Avengers, I want a game where it's like, okay, cool, I'm bored on a Saturday afternoon, and I just want to hop into a game and beat up some dudes and have some fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's really what I feel like this game is gonna be.
Games as a service.
Yeah.
So, to go along with everything that we were just talking about, coming back every day to grind for gear, for loot, we see a lot of people that are complaining about how that's what this game is. And I don't hear those same complaints about Destiny.
Yep.
I don't hear those same complaints about Call of Duty Warzone, about
Yep.
Apex, about all these games as a service games.
Yeah.
One thing I've heard that is a big problem for people is the fact that you need to spend in-game current. You need to buy things in-game in order for this game to feel like it's full content. The only thing you need to buy and pay for with your own money are the cosmetic items.
Yeah.
That being said, just like all the other games, there are ways that you can craft it and you can earn in-game currency. It's going to take you a while.
Yeah.
And that's not fun. So you can go ahead if you are impatient and you really want all these new skins that they go out for the original Iron Man skins, things like that. Like whatever. They come up with a new legendary skin for Iron Man and you want it. Go ahead and buy it then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, save up your in-game currency and do it.
Yeah.
With that being said, all the DLC, all the content for this game, like the things that are actually going to be plots and new villains, new heroes, all of it, they have told us is free.
Every new superhero and every new region will be delivered at no additional cost.
They've told us that multiple times, and from the beginning, from the re-reveal of this game at E3 2019, they said, hey, all of the future DLC and expansions that are coming to this game are 100% free. And that gets into like part of my criticism with this, like not criticism, my frustration with people talking about this games as a service deal is that so many people are saying like, oh, this game's a cash grab. This game's gonna make you spend so much money on it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? That's like a lie. That is just a straight up lie. Yeah. How is this a cash grab when literally the only things you will have to pay for is exclusive skins that'll be in the market? Like, that is literally how most games as a service do it. Like, Apex makes you pay for a battle pass, Fortnite makes you pay for a battle pass, but that's because those are free games. They need to make money somehow.
Yeah.
This one, you're spending $60 off right, and then all of the other DLC is free. They're never gonna make you pay for anything else. Like, unless you want to spend money on skins.
Yeah.
And like I've seen all of these videos talking about like, oh, like Virgin Mobile and Virgin Media and fucking Verizon, like they all have exclusive skins. Like, this is such a cash grab. I'm like, girl, how is that a cash grab? Those skins are reskins of skins we are already gonna have in the game.
Yeah, and they said that they're going to introduce them into the game later down the line once those contracts are up.
Yep. So it's just like that really, really pisses me off. Like the fact that people are saying this game is a cash grab is a lie. It is a straight up lie, and I think we're gonna get into more lies as we go later down the line.
Another big one that I think we heard were about the characters and the combat. And their uniqueness in fighting?
Yeah, yes, I do. Oh, I really do. So a thing that I've heard a lot of is all the characters just feel like they play the same.
They're the same.
They're the same. They're just reskins of other characters. It's just, they have a light attack, they have a heavy attack, and then they have superhero attacks, and then, they have ranged attacks. They all feel the same. Yes, you are 100% right. Hulk plays exactly like Black Widow.
Exactly.
You can combat enemies and approach the situation exactly the same way, and it's just not fun.
You didn't see the stun batons that the Hulk pulled out?
Oh yeah. And then
then take them down individually?
Yeah, and then the fact that Miss Marvel can definitely use repulsor cannons, and she flies around the stage just like Iron Man. Like, it's so fucking stupid. And this mentality, by this mentality, all Smash characters play the same. You know what I mean? Like, all Mortal Kombat or Injustice characters play the same, Like, all Apex characters play the same. Tell me, as a Gibby player, tell me, a Wraith player, that I can go into fights exactly how I play Wraith as Gibby. Tell me that.
You can't.
You
can't. Because while they have the same kits, while they are all mapped with the heavy, the light attack, and the supers, they each do something different.
Yep.
Iron Man's support ability increases damage, whereas you have Black Widow, which is going to... It's still a support ability, yeah, so what? It makes everybody invisible, and you can go ahead and upgrade your gear to make it into, like, a healing stealth. And then you go to Kamala Khan, and she's just got a straight-up heal. Yeah. And then you go to Hulk. I don't even know what this does, to be honest with you. It just kind of does a ground slam.
Yeah, I think Hulk's is, I don't know, you might have to upgrade it in the full game, but I think Hulk's is mainly just for him.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes him stronger. But yeah, no, it's frustrating because, like, I feel like a lot of the other things that people say, if you really want to, you can construe them or paint them as criticism. This one's a lie. This is just a flat out lie.
No, it is.
And why it pisses me off so much.
And I feel like it's because all these people that have said that
Yeah.
we've seen say that,
Yeah.
again, played A-Day,
Yep.
played the first couple missions, maybe played around the harm room with each hero just
Yeah.
to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Didn't take the time to upgrade them fully, which
Nope.
is where the uniqueness comes from. That's
Yeah.
what I'm so excited about when it comes to the skill tree.
Yeah.
Is the fact that there's going to be or how many? 2 times the amount, 3 times the
Yeah,
amount. of
they're
skills
gonna
that
be
you can
they're
choose
gonna
from.
be 2 more skill pages
Yeah.
that you can choose from.
So
And
each character is going to be unique.
very, very different. And the thing is that like even with A-Day, at least I personally feel like yeah, okay, they play similarly, but I still felt like they played pretty differently. Like I started picking up people as the Hulk and then slamming them around right after I got finished like firing repulsor blasts as Iron Man. Like they do 2 different things. So it's like in A-Day, yes, they do play a little bit more similarly because like
It's
you said,
supposed to be like a story. To set us
yeah,
up.
exactly. But like, no, again, we've rambled about this one for a long time, but
We
it's
talk
a
about
lie.
this one a lot.
Yeah, it's a lie.
It's just-
It is.
We also have been hearing a lot of complaints about how this game is a looter.
Yeah.
And it's a gear-based system.
Yeah.
And how how it just doesn't feel proper. And I agree. You know, I agree that a lot of the gear pieces feel kind of lackluster in one sense.
Yeah.
Where, like they don't really do a whole lot to like make or break each combat scenario.
Yeah.
But like, one, it's a beta.
Yeah.
So they're probably not giving us all the gear that you can possibly get. They have told us they're giving us a sliver of what you can do in the whole game.
I think I may need to fact check this, but I think they've confirmed that they didn't even give us all the status effects that are in the full game in the beta. So it's like,
Maybe it's a beta.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to show you all their cards because they've worked so hard on this, and people have been so critical of this that they're like, all right, we're not showing anybody anything because we're not going to be able to create our baby.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to create our game.
yeah.
You know, and like with the whole problem of it being like, oh, I don't want it to be a looter game. Okay, then don't play it.
Then don't play it.
Don't play it. If you are coming to this game for a campaign heavy, a story heavy game, I feel like you're going to be disappointed. I'm sorry. Like, yes, there is going to be a storyline there, and there are people who are saying that it's terrible after getting 2 missions in the beta. They've said that it's only going to be 12 to 20 hours of gameplay.
I think it was
really exploring.
I think it was like 12 hours of gameplay. Just if you're just doing the story, and then it can, if you do like all the side quests and everything like that that play into the main story. I think they said it's going to be closer to 20 to 30 hours. But I've always said, we're going on a different tangent that I think we're going to get into a little bit later. But just to finish that thought, like, I've always said this game is going to shine in multiplayer.
Yep.
Like, this game is a game about the Avengers. I don't know what the fuck people expected. Do they want a single-player Avengers game? Because I don't. Like, part of the fun about Avengers comics and Avengers movies is watching everyone team up. And you can't really do that with AI characters. You can't sit there and like say, okay, cool, I'm Captain America. Let me press this button so I can make Tony fire a repulsor blast. Let me line myself up with him and then bounce it off my shield. Like, no, which is something that they did confirm is going to happen in the game. Like, if you are Iron Man and you have a laser and your friend's Captain America, upgrade them enough, you can bounce the laser off of his shield. That's really cool.
Just like in the movies.
Yeah. But like, you can't really do that with AI companions. It's going to be a lot easier to do that with you and me playing, and then me being like, okay, cool, I'm Cap. We got a lot of people around us. Let me put up my shield, and then you start firing your laser.
Spread them all out.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
And then but going back to the
main point
of the
looting problem and gear system problem.
And an issue that I've heard a lot of people say, or have, is that the loot isn't cosmetic. So, like, it doesn't really feel like a looter. And it's like, girl, first off, these are the Avengers. I don't want my Tony Stark to have ugly ass hot pink fucking boots and then have this really cool fucking galaxy-based repulsors and chest armor. Like, I don't want that. I want to be able to choose, like, okay, cool, superior Iron Man skin, awesome, but then I have, like, this gear or whatever that, my favorite thing that we've had so far with the gear is Pym particle effects. Being able to,
such a cool thing.
It's so cool, being able to, like, use my repulsors and then, or even as Hulk, beating up people, and then that last punch punches them so hard, and then it just shrinks them. That's so cool to me, and that's really what I want. I don't care about the loot not being cosmetic. It's really, for me, such a non-issue. And the fact that, like, people are saying, like, oh, that's the big part of looters, is that, you know, the cosmetic gear that you get. Then, girl, maybe there's not that much to the looters that you play.
Like, okay, with that argument, like, let's go ahead and say that the gear should change it. Okay, well then go ahead and talk to Apex Legends.
Right.
Go ahead and talk to Fortnite.
Right.
Go ahead and talk to Borderlands.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Borderlands. You get to change your skins and the colors of the skins, and you get to change your head in Borderlands. But your gear, like, it just affects the combat. It doesn't affect how the character looks or what they do.
Tell that to so many fucking RPGs.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many RPGs that are out there that don't use cosmetic loot, but they still have loot in them. Like, loot is not a bad word, is a bad word to describe it. But it's like, you know, okay, cool, like, let me use Persona 5, for example. You know, like, we have, you know, chess pieces in Persona 5, and you have, like, guns and stuff like that. But it doesn't really change a lot of the loot, especially for the actual characters. The, like, shirts that are supposed to go onto the characters. It doesn't change them. You have to change the skins yourself.
Yep.
So it's like, this is such a non-issue. Like, this is, people are really, like, digging and looking for things to hate, and it pisses me off as well.
With all that being said, I do understand how the gear in the beta can feel a little bit lackluster. Right? Like, one of the things that I kind of wish the gear did was once you got, like, a complete set, it, like, just gave you a completely new ability.
Yeah.
Or it did something, you know, it just did something really cool to have a complete set, you know, like, all 4 things for Hulk are, like, I think there was, like, quick simulation things, and it's like, if you got all 4 of those, okay, great. Now, instead of just, you know, ground slam doing a little bit of damage, it now echoes out a little bit further and causes debris damage.
Yeah.
But again, it's a beta, and they've already confirmed that they didn't give us all the status effects, all the things that each piece of gear is going to do. They wanted to give us a little taste.
And I think there is, like, maybe not to that extent. I'm not sure. Again, we don't have the full game.
Yeah.
Like, again, we don't have the full game, so we don't really know. But there are already hints of that in the loot. Like what you mentioned earlier about the fact that if you put a specific loot piece on Black Widow, her Veil of Shadows thing also heals you, which is not something that it does originally. So it's just like, I can understand loot being an issue in the long run if, you know, it is just satisfying, and maybe pin particles will get boring after a little while, etc, etc, etc. But right now I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think shrinking people is a lot of fun. Like, watching Hulk pick up a piece of debris and it get infused with cosmic damage, and it looks like something Captain Marvel would do in the comics, or like the energy that Captain Marvel emits in the comics. I think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah,
and that really excites me. At least right now. And I would like it if there were, like, you know, a little bit more status effects for the enemies, where it's like, okay, cool, this enemy is extra susceptible to cryo damage, or this one's extra susceptible to gamma damage. So if we're going on a mission, I need to switch my loadout for Tony or for Nat or something like that, where I do have cryo damage or gamma damage or stuff like that.
Or you can tell me, like, hey, do a cryo loadout set because I'm going this set.
Exactly.
Like, and that just adds more to the fun, because
exactly.
now it's like, while it is the same combat, you're doing different things in that combat, which is the appeal of a lot of looters and shooters. You can go through the same grinding levels and approach it different ways. Yes, there are going to be the best ways to do it, but congratulations, there's the best way to do everything in every game. Just have fun with it. I just want to end it with that. Like, this is supposed to be fun. It's a game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And again, like, I was like, maybe there are those status effects there for characters. We don't really know. Like, we haven't played the full, like, people have not really been able to delve into the game and say like, okay, this is the weak point on this enemy, and then this is the weak point on that enemy, etc, etc, etc. We haven't been able to do that because we've only been playing the beta, and it's so limited right now.
One thing that we saw that, like, got us really heated was the characters themselves. This is gonna be like a shorter one because I don't know what this person was saying on their YouTube, but unfortunately they had like thousands of likes and people like agreeing with them. He said that the characters weren't actual Avengers. I can't even, I'm mad. I'll have to look it up and I'll post it in the comments or something like that. But this person actually played this game and said, these aren't the actual Avengers.
And it's like,
where's Ant-Man? Where's like the original ones? I'm like, they probably chose, first of all, they are all actual Avengers.
Yeah.
Sorry, they were all a part of the Avengers in the comics and MCU
Yep.
at some point.
Yep.
The reason they're probably going with this specific team is because the MCU is so popular, and that's the team that the MCU started with. So why would they mess with success?
Yeah.
Why would they be like, all right, let's do a bunch of characters that people have never heard of before, and, except for like the niche people like who really, really, love the comics.
Yeah.
Like, and that's really awesome. That would be cool, but like, I'd much rather them start out strong.
Yeah.
With a strong cast.
Yep.
And then later down the line, for the fans that like have been longtime comic book fans, been like, all right, cool. Here's Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like so the thing that pissed me off about this dude, like, was the fact that he said, oh, they don't have any actual Avengers on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Wolverine? Where's Johnny Storm? Where's Beast? And I'm like, so you're talking about people who are more known as X-Men or Fantastic Four
Then they are Avengers.
Then they are Avengers, and then I'm also looking up founding members of the Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Know who are founding members of the Avengers?
Single.
So to his point, Ant-Man and Wasp were founding members of the Avengers. Do you know who else was a founding member of the Avengers? Thor.
Was it Iron Man too?
Also Hulk. I believe Iron Man was also a founding Avenger. So it's like,
or at least he came on, I feel like, early enough on.
He did.
To not be a founding
Yes.
member, but like long enough to be a part of the Avengers community.
Original organization. Founders of the Avengers: Iron Man, Thor, Wasp, Ant-Man, Hulk. Who's in this game?
All of those characters.
Except for Wasp. Wasp is the only one that has not
Wasp hasn't
been
mentioned.
exactly. But Hank Pym is in the game. He's not Ant-Man yet, but he could potentially be Ant-Man in the future. Iron Man's on the team. Hulk is on the team. Thor is on the team. Like, girl, founding Avengers are on the team. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Just wanted to debunk that real
Yeah,
quick.
so that's stupid. There was another issue that people have had about frame rates issues, which is a legitimate issue, and I agree with that. It is noticeable in a lot of bigger moments and bigger set pieces.
Definitely.
But again, it's a beta, and I'm really hoping that it's something that they do. I can't say that they will. I don't know. We don't have the full game yet, and if this is an issue that is persistent during the full game, then it is a legitimate issue. But it's a beta.
And guess what? The beauty of games as a service is if they see it's a problem and the community is really starting to leave because of it, they're gonna change it.
They can update it.
Well, they got the money to do it.
Literally, like, Apex, we talked about this a little bit already, but Apex is like, excuse the pun, Apex is the Apex. Like,
in our opinion.
In our opinions,
Yeah.
yes. Because literally, they're like, okay, cool, people aren't liking this, and this. Let's change it. They change it, and people are like, this is phenomenal. This is great. Like, I love it. Give Lifeline a buff. She really needs a buff. And they're like, okay, cool. We're gonna make her amazing.
And now she feels like so much more of a combat medic.
Yep.
And
Mirage.
Mirage is reworked too. They
Yep.
listened to Mirage. They listened to everyone who loved Mirage, and they're
Yep.
like, he just doesn't keep up with the same. And now he's one
Oh
of the best
my
characters
God.
to pick. Like, he's
Yes.
so much fun to play now.
So it's like they have the ability to change all of these things.
Not to say they will, but like, if they want this to keep accruing money for them, then they're probably going to listen to the community, because like, the beauty of it is there's so many games as a service games out currently that are successful, that are doing well. So they have a good idea of how to do this properly. And again, let me just reiterate, it is a beta.
It's a beta.
I heard someone say that, like, oh, it's a beta, it's supposed to be a perfect game, like, to show you exactly what it's gonna be. Like,
No.
I don't agree with that. I feel like betas are meant to be like, kind of like, let me give you just a feel of what this is gonna be.
And tell us what to fix.
Here you go. Like, cause like the betas are free to play.
Yeah.
Like, the only people that had to pay to gain access was to gain early access.
Yeah.
And that was the PlayStation 4 Deluxe Edition. Right?
Well, for the beta, no. You didn't have to necessarily, like,
To get it early.
To get it early, like, yeah, like, if you want to talk about pre-ordering is spending money, then yes, you had to spend money to get it early, but you can cancel your pre-order and get your money back. So technically, no, you didn't have to pay anything to get early access for the beta. And, like, also they have said since the beginning, we're releasing a beta so we can get feedback on the game. People don't understand how much Crystal wants this to work.
Yeah.
Because, like, they've not been following the game and not been following Crystal's, like, comments and talking about the game. They delayed this game. It was supposed to come out in May. They delayed this game 4 months because beta testers were saying, or quality assurance testers were saying, Iron Man and Thor are not fun to play.
Yeah.
Like, they delayed it for other reasons, but two of the big reasons they mentioned about why they delayed it was because they wanted to work more on Iron Man and Thor. They're already listening to the community. They, like... Sorry.
No, it's
that was
okay.
another rant.
Just patience.
Yeah.
Because this isn't like God of War. This isn't like all those other big name games that are like these great, awesome stories that they tell.
Yeah.
This is a games as a service.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just a rant. But
Yeah.
like, the biggest takeaway, if you take away anything from this video, is it's a beta.
Yeah.
Like, have your complaints, but if they aren't constructive criticism, if you just say you don't like this, give me a reason why.
Yeah.
Give them a reason why. Explain how they can make it better.
Yeah.
But if you just say I don't like Thor, don't play Thor.
Yeah.
Don't play this game.
Yeah.
I really want to play Spider-Man. Get a
Then
PS4.
go play
I'm so
Spider-Man.
sorry. Another problem that we've been hearing. Straight up lie.
It is a
what?
lie. It's not enough enemy variety. So,
Really?
I'm gonna, again, call somebody out. Young Yeah said this. So this is also a lie, because I played the beta both weekends, the PS4 pre-order weekend, and then this weekend, right? This weekend, I found about, like, 3 or 4 new Adaptoids. Adaptoids alone. 3 or 4 new Adaptoids that I did not find at all last weekend. Like, at all. There was a fire one, there was one that had telekinesis, there was, like...
baton
Yeah,
handles.
and it was like... No, I found different enemies that I had to completely change how I fought Adaptoids to fight. Like, it's... The fact that you're saying there's not enough enemy variety is just a lie.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating.
And even if it's like a situation where like, okay, you just didn't notice them last weekend,
Yeah.
okay, then that speaks to the fact that there's enough variety in the game that like I didn't notice that there were these types of enemies in this game.
Yeah.
At this mission.
Yeah.
So.
And then also, again, they have not put all of the enemies that we're gonna fight into the beta, so...
We don't have enough missions to fight. That's another one that some people are saying that there are not enough missions and that the missions are stale and cookie cutter.
Yeah.
That feels that way
Yeah.
because they gave us a handful of missions. There are going to how many missions exactly do we get? Probably like around 10, right?
In the beta, including like all of the story missions and everything like that,
Okay.
I think like they're about maybe 20-ish. So it's like that's 20 missions, but again, they've said this is a small sliver of the game.
Because remember how many battle missions that they said that they were gonna be?
They said there were going to be a mixture of war zones and battle zones. There were going to be at least 80. At least 80, and that's just at launch. They're adding more stuff post-launch. And you know what else they've said about post-launch content? I think it's going to come a lot sooner than a lot of you guys think.
This is why they're keeping a lot of things close to the chest. They have so much fun planned for us. At least I'm really hopeful. I'm not like I don't work for them, so I don't know for sure. But like, I feel like that's why they're not talking about it as much. Like, do you all remember the secrecy with the MCU with like, you know, the next phases and stuff like that? There is so much secrecy, and that's part of like the appeal to it. It's like, oh my God, who's that villain? All we heard was the voice. You know, remember when Ultron was first announced? All we heard was the famous line that he says about like there are
no strings on me.
And only the people who really knew and really, you know, saw where this is going were like, oh, it's Ultron.
Yeah.
Everyone else, myself included, was just like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I had to have him explain to me that, oh, it's Ultron.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
And then also just the fact that like, so if you want to stick with the MCU
Argument?
Motif argument, yeah. We didn't know Phase 4 until after Endgame. Endgame ended, and we were like, okay, cool, we know Spider-Man's coming out next month. Other than that, we have no idea what the future of the MCU looks like. But if you want to not talk about the MCU, you just want to talk about Marvel games, we didn't know the main villain of Spider-Man PS4 until the game launched.
Like-
Dr. Octopus was not talked about until that game launched.
So to sit here, to sit there and say that at beta, the missions are stale and cookie cutter, going from point A to point B, defeating the enemies along the way. Okay, you're describing
Video games.
video games. Like, yes, of course it's gonna feel grindy. Yes, of course it's gonna be like that. That's where the looter and shooter comes in. That's where the grinding for gear comes in.
Yeah.
But you have a lot to say about this because everyone keeps comparing it to Spider-Man and Batman.
So I agree that a lot of the missions and like the internals of the missions and stuff like that, like the internal
Inside the bases?
Yeah, inside the bases and stuff like that. They do feel a lot like they're the same. They are lacking a little bit of content and stuff like that. But again, like I hope that is fixed in the full game because like they said again, they're giving us a very, very small sliver. But I think they feel repetitive because we have no context for the story and for these missions. You know what I mean? Take the story out of Batman Arkham. Take the story out of Spider-Man. What are you doing? Swinging or gliding from one place to another, beating up a bunch of bad guys. And then what are you doing after that? Swinging or gliding to another place and beating up a bunch of bad guys.
But this time stealthily.
But this time, you're doing it stealthily. Like, that's video games in general. The thing that makes it feel like it's varied is the story.
Yeah.
Like, literally Uncharted is going from place to place, shooting a bunch of guys, and then going from place to place and shooting a bunch of guys. Like, that's video games. The story is where the variety feels and comes into. And we don't know the story yet. We haven't gotten it yet. And this goes into another point that I have about this game. Stop comparing it to single-player games. People are saying, "Oh, this just doesn't feel like Batman.
It doesn't feel like Tomb Raider.
It doesn't feel like Tomb Raider. It doesn't feel like Spider-Man." Like, girl, you stop comparing this to Batman and Spider-Man just because it is a superhero game.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason you're comparing it to Batman and Spider-Man, because it's a superhero game. This is a different genre of gaming than that. It is a looter shooter.
Period.
Batman and Spider-Man were not looter shooters.
Yeah.
At all.
No, they weren't. They were story-based campaign games.
Yeah. And all they had to do and all they wanted to do was focus on this one character. Okay, how do we make Batman feel like Batman? How do we make Spider-Man feel like Spider-Man? And they did very good jobs with that.
Yeah.
This game has to make you feel like 6 different characters at launch. Not even mentioning all the other characters that are going to come to this game in the future, that they have to somehow figure out how to make them feel unique, how to make them feel different, and all of these different things. And I think with the characters that we've played with, they've done a damn good job of it.
They have. They really have.
Like, that's the thing that has been, I think, pissing me off the most, where it's just like, oh yeah, I don't think this is going to compare to Spider-Man or Batman. No, it's not, because those are single-player games. We've never gotten a game like this before.
Nope.
We've never gotten a looter shooter as with superheroes before.
Yeah.
We just haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what's exciting about this. That's why we both got excited about this game in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's gonna have a campaign. That's gonna be, fun to play through and hear what this story for this universe is gonna be and how it's gonna set up later DLC maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to go in and hop in as Iron Man and fly above everybody and watch him as the Hulk just charge through a bunch of enemies and take down a tank.
Yeah. Like, one of the coolest things that we've done is me playing as Black Widow and then you playing as Hulk, and me, like, fighting a bunch of dudes, going in to fight somebody, and then me, like, while charging at somebody, just seeing a boulder that you threw from behind me hit that dude and kill him, be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. That's just cool.
It's
just
fun.
dope. Yeah.
And then at the end of the mission, you get like a cool piece of gear that changes my boulder from doing gamma damage to cosmic damage to cosmic combustion damage is one that I got.
Yeah.
Like, where I threw it, instead of just dealing the cosmic damage, it exploded and then dealt AOE cosmic damage.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just dope. It's dope.
and again, reiterate, fraction,
Yeah.
a sliver of
Yep.
what's coming.
Yep.
Sorry, I feel like we should go ahead and have a contract with us, Crystal Dynamics, because
Honestly.
we're your biggest fans
Yeah.
right now. just like one minor thing that I did want to mention that while we were talking about how characters are feeling unique, is one that we heard today, like, right before filming this video, is a valid point.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ones where I agree. This could be improved upon. Is that the abilities take a while to cool down.
Yep.
And like whether they just need to fix it somehow, because like I'm going half the game without being able to charge through a crowd of enemies.
Yeah.
I have to wait for it to cool down.
Yeah.
Now there are gear pieces and stuff that help the cooldown of it, and that's cool, and that's probably going to be a definite thing down the line where it's like, all right, cool, because you already see it where like, okay, your heavy combos and your heavy finishers, if you get all these attacks off, if you finish it with a heavy, you're gonna do, you know, gamma damage.
Yeah.
So that's probably gonna be the thing where like all these things will be set for like, all right, cool, heavy combos and heavy finishers will do that.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have builds that are like, all right, these are your cooldown builds.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be very important for like Kamala Khan with her heals, and it's gonna be very important with Iron Man because like he relies a lot. Not even Iron Man. Iron Man relies a lot on his gadgets. So he's gonna be very much like, all right, give him stuff that improves his range combat and improves his melee combat. With who it's gonna matter with is Hulk, who doesn't have anything except himself to, you know, throw at the enemy. So if he can't keep throwing himself at the enemy, keep doing these abilities that make him deal a ton of damage, then like, meh. So I feel like they could improve that. By seeing given constructive criticism. I feel like they could improve that by either making it so melee combat reduces the combat, you know, reduces the cooldowns a little bit more. Or they just have, you know, shorter cooldowns in general for certain abilities. Because they're all on the same timer pretty much, and that's kind of.
And I think it's also unclear as to how they cool down, because like, is it on a timer? Is it based off of melee attacks? I think that's something that they could explain a little bit more.
And maybe they will in the story.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there have been times where it's like, okay, cool, I'm playing as Iron Man, and you know, I just use my Unibeam, but then like, you know, I fight a couple enemies and then I get my Unibeam again right afterwards. But then there have also been times where it's like, okay, cool, use my Unibeam, fight a couple enemies, still don't have my Unibeam yet. Fighting more enemies, still don't have my Unibeam yet. Like, what?
I really like my Unibeam right
exactly. Like, what is the cooldown? I think that's something that they should explain a little bit more.
Yeah, and like with like Unibeam, with a lot of the damage dealing abilities, because they take so long to cool down, I expect them to do more damage. Yeah. Like the Unibeam can't take down, like, you know, one of the elites. It can't take down an elite's shield and health all the way. Yeah. That I get, but one of the chest of his Unibeams can only take out someone's shields. Yeah. And I'm like, I get it, they're elites. Yeah. But like, I am wasting an ability that costs me what, like 2 minutes to come back? Yeah. What? No. Yeah. Like it's and maybe again that's something that gets better with gear or maybe upgrades or stuff like that. But yeah, that is another, something they need to work on. That is a valid point that I am hearing. Yeah.
Play the game for yourself.
I feel like that's the biggest thing that we want anyone who watches this to take away from us is like, we've said it many times throughout this video, this game is a beta.
It's a beta.
And they have told us several times that they're only showing us a sliver of what they have to come. Yep. And it is an in-service, it is a game as a service, so things they can update and improve upon with constructive feedback. Yeah. And if nothing else you take away from this game, from this video, is just play the game yourself.
Play it yourself.
From August 21st to the 23rd, they're having another open beta weekend, and you're going to be able to play and try all these characters again. Yeah. And I implore you, please God, play more than just A-Day and the first 2 missions. Yeah. Explore Harm Room, explore all the missions. Yeah. There were secrets that we found throughout missions on our second weekend playing. Yeah. And yes, because some of those secrets, maybe because someone else found them and I saw it on YouTube. Yeah. But like the fact that there were secrets in the beta that you could find, just to me speaks volume about what's to come with this game.
100%. I agree 100%. And I would also, like, on top of the play this game for yourself, please, 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 if somebody says, I played it for a couple hours, I don't like it, don't listen to them. Because usually what that means is what Alex said, they played A-Day, and then they stopped playing.
And, like, there's anything wrong with that. Right. Again, this isn't to say, like, if you don't like this game, that's perfectly fine. We're not here to tell you need to like this game and everything. What we're here to tell you is that, like, enjoy this game for what it is. Play this game yourself. And don't take what people say on YouTube just because they have hundreds and millions of followers. Great, good for them. They're doing it for the views, as you talked about earlier. Like, have fun with this game.
Yeah.
Give it a chance before you just say no.
Yeah.
And worst comes to worst, you sell it back to GameStop and you go buy another game.
Right.
Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's with anything that with anything that you buy, any game that you buy, any movie that you buy, any content that you buy, it's gonna be hit or miss for you because they're also your individual takes. So if you don't like it, that's fine.
That's fine.
If you don't like it after playing a couple hours, that's fine. It's not a game for you. Don't make a video about it.
Right.
Don't make a video about saying how it's terrible, how it sucks.
Don't buy this
it
game.
sucks
blah,
for you.
Blah, blah.
Make a tweet about it instead. Be like, hey guys, you know what? I'm excited that Avengers is coming out in a little bit. I was excited for it. It's not for me though. Go check out these people who are, enjoy this game, Give shout outs to the community.
Yeah. Or not even just that. Like, again, like we said a million times, we're rambling. Play it for yourself. Make your own decisions. Don't be sheep. Like, don't play into the gaming hive mind. Like, play it for yourself. Make your own decisions and opinions about it. But yeah, I mean, that's all I've got to say, really.
That's the end of our rant.
Yeah.
We just had to get that off.
Yeah, I know, like, we rambled a lot. Thank you guys, like, so much for watching.
And listening to just us babble.
Yeah, yeah, so the game's fun. Recap, I guess. Don't listen to everybody. A lot of the things that people are saying are lies. They're really just playing into the gaming hive mind, etc., etc., etc. Let us know in the comments below about your opinions of the game. Did you play the beta? Yeah. Did you try it yourself? Did you play the beta? If you did play the beta, let us know. If you haven't, please play the beta. Like, play it yourself.
And if you all have any, concerns about this game, comment under the video.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk to you about it. We'd love to talk. One of my favorite things to do is sit here and answer people and reply to messages and comments.
Here. Yeah.
About people who are excited about this game or characters that they like to see. So if you have concerns about this game and you've played it, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So but thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video with future Avengers content.
See you next time.
Bye.